Good Wednesday evening, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Again, good evening to everybody. We got a serious weather situation we have to talk about here later on this week, and this is centered around Friday, March 31st here. The March is going to go out like a lion. We are going to be ratcheting up the ante here as well for severe weather toward the end of the week. We'll be going over the overview, the setup of severe weather, the timing of the storms, and then also we're going to be going over some failure modes of the storm as well, which I mean by that is the storm, if it has an enhanced risk, why couldn't we still see no severe weather in those areas? We'll kind of go over some failure modes, stuff like that here in this live stream, but I definitely appreciate everybody joining. If you have not yet shared this live stream with anybody via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything social media wise, definitely share this with friends and family or anybody you know so we can get the word out there because we have a heightened risk for severe weather. And again, thank you so much for all the likes out there, all the new subscribers, and everything like that. So thank you, everybody, and I appreciate everybody joining. So throughout the live stream, we will be taking questions. I will be taking questions toward the end of the live stream. There's a lot of information that I have to get to you guys, the audience. So do bear with me. I will be getting to your questions, comments, concerns, but I will be going over some of the information to pass along first. All right. So first of all, why we're here, we have a severe weather risk on Friday here, and this is a pretty heightened risk. All the way back on day 5, the Storm Prediction Center actually had this enhanced risk outlined across the lower Midwest, the western Ohio Valley, and the Mid-South areas here, or what you call the Mid-Mississippi Valley. And this has been sticking around. So there is some concern that there is a significant severe weather event on the way, and we have some areas of concern here. So let's go over that real quick with you guys. This is the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook here. This did come out last night here at 2:30 in the morning, or actually this morning. The newest outlook will be out at 1 o'clock in the morning here, which would be the day 2 outlook. So we'll get to that here again tomorrow morning. But anywhere in this orange shaded color here, so I'm going to be highlighting that, circling this in the black. If you guys live anywhere in this orange shaded color, I want you guys to be on a high alert for a significant high impact severe weather event going into Friday. So this covers much of east central Iowa, much of Illinois, especially west central and southern and portions of central Illinois there, far southwest Wisconsin, much of Missouri, especially east central Missouri, much of Arkansas, western portions of Kentucky, southwestern Indiana, western and even parts of middle Tennessee there, extreme northwestern Alabama, and then getting into north central Mississippi. These are the areas we have to be on high alert for the potential for not only just normal severe weather, but significant severe weather. And we'll get to those concerns here in just a moment. But even if you're in the yellow, guys, so if you're in the big, large yellow shaded color here that I'm going to circle, this is the area to watch even still for some severe weather, at least some normal severe weather. And at least this yellow shaded color, again, this covers much of the lower Midwest up here, much of the western Ohio Valley, the Mid-South, the Tennessee Valley, all the way down into the southern states, the Gulf of Mexico states down here, even parts of northeast Texas, just outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, getting into northern Louisiana, central Mississippi here, some of the areas hardest hit across the Rolling Fork area, Silver City. You guys are in that a slight risk level 2 of 5 for severe weather. Getting, unfortunately, farther east again into portions of northern Alabama, another area that has been hard hit over the past couple of weeks. We will be seeing more severe weather there potentially on Friday. That crosses into the Music City there in Nashville, Lexington, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Louisville, Indianapolis, South Bend, Gary, Fort Wayne, Indiana. All you guys up here are in that yellow shaded color. Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin, and then up toward La Crosse, Wisconsin. You guys are in that threat for severe weather. Thank you so much, Amy Johnson, for the $5 donation. Appreciate your streams and how you simplify everything to make sense for the average weather watcher. Definitely appreciate it. Everybody, please get Amy Johnson a round of applause in the live stream chat. Definitely much appreciated for the $5 donation. Definitely goes a long way supporting this channel. So thanks for the support out there, guys. Much appreciated. And again, give Amy a round of applause in the chat for the $5 donation. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great evening, Amy, and everybody else as well. So, to simplify it more, we're going to be going over some of the dynamics with the system. But before we do that, and the setup for the severe weather, this is the probabilistic outlook from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. They put these outlooks out here sometimes as we get closer to the event, a few days, a few hours every day. So, like as we go to day one, day two, so tomorrow, and then the day itself on Friday, we're going to be seeing this threat more realized, and we're going to be seeing the updates every so often throughout the day. So right now, the new update, like I said, won't come out until 2:30 in the morning, but you see in the yellow shaded color here, there is just normal 15% area here of severe weather. This covers, again, much of the lower Midwest, much of the western Ohio Valley, getting into portions of the Mid-South here. And then you see this area of red, and also kind of these raindrop looking things is what we call a hatched risk. That is a significant outline of 30% area of severe weather here, probability from much of east central Iowa, much of Illinois, Missouri, down through Arkansas, southwestern Indiana, western Kentucky, western and even parts of middle Tennessee, and then back in extreme northwestern Alabama, north central Mississippi. Again, this is a large area, probably one of the largest enhanced risks I have seen in quite some time. And then we also have the hatched areas, or what I'm kind of drawing here. You can see kind of these dashed lines in there. That is a significant outline, for which means we could have significant tornadoes, significant damaging winds, and possibly some damaging hail in that area. So that's from Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, Quad Cities, Dubuque, Iowa here, and then on up toward just close to the Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin area, getting into portions there of Illinois, so LaSalle, Peru, down through Quincy, Macomb here in western Illinois, Peoria, Champaign-Urbana, Bloomington, Normal, Carbondale, St. Louis. That'll switch its way farther to the south toward Cape Girardeau, Springfield, Missouri, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Memphis, getting down into the Greenville region here into Mississippi, Tupelo, Mississippi, Jackson, Tennessee, portions of Paducah there, and then getting toward Henryville, Indiana, just west of Louisville. Those are some of the areas that are at most concern for the significant severe weather hazards going through the day on Friday. So without talking about the hazards here, we'll have more of the specific hazards as we get closer to this event, so tomorrow, but it does look like we're going to be seeing a pretty significant threat. So let's go into the weather models and see what we are expected to see here and why all of this is coming together. So I want to have you guys realize how dynamic this storm system really is going to get. So looking right now, this is the 18Z NAM 12KM model, and you can see this storm is nowhere to be found here across the middle of the country, and that is because it is out west here across portions of the West Coast. So that's where that system is. We got that low pressure system diving down across portions of California that will reform eventually somewhere across the Rockies and then start to lift up to the north and east. And that is a system that we're going to have to watch into the middle of the country as we get through, say, that Friday timeframe, Thursday, and then into Friday. So let's kind of move the clock here, and let's go back to what we call the mid-level jet. This is the 500 millibar winds, and let's kind of zoom it out here and kind of look at it more of a North America, or at least a United States view, and you can clearly see how dynamic this storm is already. You can see the big dip in the jet stream out here just across portions of California, large trough all the way across the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, all the way up into Idaho. We're seeing some very dynamic ingredients coming together. We got the cooler air moving south into this trough. We got the warmer air here out of the Gulf of Mexico starting to lift slowly up to the north. So we got a pretty favorable setup synoptically with this system. But as we go in towards, say, the overnight period, you see this trough starts to move a little bit farther to the east. So this system is on land. So all the sensors that we have on the West Coast, the desert Southwest, it's going to be able to pick up all of these ingredients that the storm has and put them into the computer models. And I think overnight tonight into our Thursday morning, we'll have a really good idea of how significant exactly this severe weather outbreak will be. So stay tuned to then, but we still have a good idea now. So we're going to kind of look at the synoptic setup here. Again, we got more of a neutral neutral trough here, neutrally tilted across the west coast here as we go in towards the morning hours on Thursday. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. Now as we go in toward the midday hours into the afternoon, this is Thursday afternoon, we start to see a decent piece of the mid-level jet starting to kick out across the plains, at least the western Great Plains here. And again, this is going to take more of a neutral tilt. So not quite negatively tilted yet, but we do see some severe weather starting to line up down here just to the east of the strongest wind shear with this trough that rounds the base of the trough. And we have that across portions of Kansas, maybe western Missouri, getting down through Oklahoma and North Texas. Just a marginal threat for severe weather and maybe an attendant lower risk of severe weather even farther north. So across these areas there into northwest Iowa and Nebraska could have a couple of stronger storms. We'll get to that here as well. But even going through Thursday, we don't have too much to worry about with severe weather. A lot of the ingredients is not really coming together on Thursday. We have a very significant drought out here. So if you guys imagine in Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, down into West Texas, all across the central and southern plains, we have a decent drought. We have severe, extreme, and even the worst drought category, an exceptional drought. And this is what is going to be kind of holding off that severe weather threat. That's what we call the elevated mix layer. When you have all these strong winds moving over the dry air, you don't have a lot of moisture into those areas because you are in drought. So that will put a cap on the atmosphere, a capping inversion, and it will be tough to get any strong thunderstorms to develop. But if they do develop, we'll show you the outlooks for Thursday in just a moment after the discussion about Friday. But we could be talking about maybe some stronger storms, and we do have a 2% shading for tornadoes going in towards, say, that Thursday evening, Thursday overnight time frame. So I think if any storms pop, it'll be Thursday evening and overnight. And again, we'll show you that with the models in just a moment. We're kind of looking more at the synoptic setup. Now things take a turn towards the interesting side here as we go into Friday. So this is 1 o'clock Friday afternoon. This is early afternoon, and things are already very volatile. We have an extremely quick mid-level jet here racing in. We have a beginning to take more of a negatively tilted trough here as we move up into the Midwest, the Missouri Valley, and the Mid-South here, getting in towards Friday afternoon. And why this is so concerning is the deepening of this trough and the low pressure system. The low pressure will be somewhere up here, kind of moving more east northeasterly, and we have very, very strong winds on the opposite side of that low, right ahead of the system, and that obviously will be in the warm sector of the system, and that is going to create some havoc here on Friday. So let's move the clock along a little bit further. This going in towards that is absolutely too far, so just give me one moment. So 7 o'clock here on Friday night, and look at all the dynamics with this trough. We have some extremely diffluent and very strong winds here. Kind of, you see the curl in the jet stream kind of curls back north and almost kind of into the low pressure system. On the northern side of that, I am very concerned about a severe weather outbreak in the area I am outlining, right in this area, especially as we go in towards Friday afternoon and Friday night. Again, I know there's an enhanced risk farther southeast, but this is the area I am very concerned about here going in toward that Friday afternoon and Friday night time frame. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that. Now, something else we're going to look at is what we call the low-level jet, because this is actually very important in trying to sustain the storms and also the intensity of the storms as well as they move from west to east. And these are going to be moving quickly. Now, I already showed you the mid-level jet and the 500 millibar layer, but now we're looking at the 700 millibar layer, the low-level jet, and you can see we have very powerful winds moving in out of the south-southwest here. We got strong winds on the backside of the low pressure system somewhere like that. So we have a very dynamic system shaping up across this area on Friday, and that means the storms, when they develop, they will move rapidly from west to east. You're not going to have a lot of time to react to severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, vice versa. Definitely going to be on your toes because these storms will at least be moving at 50, maybe 60 miles per hour with what I'm looking at here. And again, we have to look at even the 850 millibar winds. And those two are very strong. The 850 millibar winds are just about 1,000 feet up, and we're going to be mixing down some of these winds as well as we have those storms develop in that environment going in through the day on Friday. So now we got to look at another type of setup here, and this is what we look at for the energy in the atmosphere. So let's go into about 4 o'clock Friday afternoon, peak daytime heating, and let's look at what the NAM 12KM is showing for CAPE, or convective available potential energy. And you do see there is plenty of that all the way up into southwest Wisconsin, getting into Iowa here, northern Illinois, getting into portions of Missouri. That's the area that I outlined earlier with some, I'm very concerned about this area. And that is also the area where I outlined here. I'll actually circle this in white so you guys can see it. In this area here, where I'm very concerned, and you also see some very strong winds coming in out of the southwest here over top of this energy with that mid-level jet. So we're going to have a lot of wind energy and plenty of instability here, up around 1 to even 2,000 joules per kilogram, and anything over 1,000 joules per kilogram is actually concerning for severe weather. So we could be as high as 2,000 joules per kilogram by 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. And looking at what we call the supercell composite, so this puts the dew points, the temperatures, everything together, wind shear, and kind of puts a supercell composite together. And the highest values are actually shown down here so far, at least on the NAM model, across portions of the Missouri Valley down into the Mid-South here across Missouri and Arkansas. But we still have some farther north in towards northern Illinois, eastern Iowa, maybe even as far north as southeast Minnesota, southwest Wisconsin, up there toward Prairie du Chien and the La Crosse region. So that will definitely in itself be something we certainly have to keep an eye on. And then this is another value. This again is another composite that takes together all the ingredients that we look for potential strong tornadoes, and look at the values just 2 days out already across western Illinois, eastern Missouri, the entire state of Arkansas, and all the way south into northeast Texas. Very high values, and the highest of the values are here across southern Missouri into north central Arkansas for significant tornadoes as we head through the day on Friday. So again, this is just one model's opinion. We'll continue to track it, and just kind of showing you the differences in the model. This is the NAM 12KM. We're going to switch over to the WRAP model, and it has a little bit of a different solution. So let's go back to the 21Z here. Let's go to Friday at about the afternoon hours or so. That's Friday morning. Friday afternoon. Look at how concerning this does get. This is about 4 o'clock there, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And look at how the WRAP model is actually significantly more north with the significant tornado parameter up here across the Midwest, especially there in toward Illinois. So the models do differ in the location of the significant tornado potential, but the WRAP model is a little bit farther to the north. So that would be concerning because the low pressure system up here will be close enough in proximity to that where we could be talking about some very serious rotating storms up here into eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, central Illinois, and down towards St. Louis, and even a secondary area, or what we call a bimodal severe weather setup here, and with another area down there toward Memphis, Little Rock, Jonesboro, getting in toward the Tupelo region. So that will be something to watch as we go in toward Friday night. That is what the WRAP model is suggesting. And I actually suggest the WRAP model a little bit more than the NAM, because the NAM sometimes, again, not to say the NAM's wrong, but I like the WRAP model more. It has more of the mesoscale details in there, and it's shorter range than the NAM. So I do like this model overall a lot more than the NAM. So if you live in anywhere, again, southwest Wisconsin included. So if you live, I would say from La Crosse, Wisconsin, all the way down to Memphis and even Tupelo, Mississippi, you guys really need to be on high alert going through the afternoon and evening on Friday, at least looking at some of the soundings here. And let's kind of look at this, okay? Let's look at the timing with the WRAP model of these storms. Let's go into about Friday morning or so. Let's kind of start in the morning hours. This is 7 a.m. on Friday. We got some spotty showers, some scattered thunderstorms down here across the Ohio Valley. These will not be severe. However, we could still see some small hail, some heavy downpours with these across Indiana, Ohio, down into portions of east central Kentucky, maybe another area down here into the mid-south across southeast Arkansas, northern Mississippi, getting into northern Louisiana. Those could be stronger, maybe producing some, nickel pea-size hailstones, those pocket change hailstones, and potentially even some gusty winds, but probably sub-severe type of storms by 7 a.m. on Friday. Moving ahead to Friday, late morning, again, much of the same. You can see we have a lot of those storms hanging around much of the mid-Atlantic, the eastern Ohio Valley over here, and then with the warm air advection surging northward, we're going to have at any point in time some storms developing on Friday morning down here across the south, which could, depending on how long some of these storms stick around, could kind of squelch the severe weather threat on the southern side of this risk area. And this is something that I'm kind of watching out for, a potential failure mode of what I was talking about earlier for severe weather across the Mid-South. So we'll get into that a little bit later here and why I think the severe weather threat is a little more questionable down in this area rather than farther north into Illinois, okay? So we'll continue to look at that. And let's go back here toward the 1 o'clock in the afternoon time frame. Again, we have more warm air advection, or what we call those dew points will be rising, temperatures rising. So at any point in time, we could have some isolated shower storms early afternoon on Friday. These could start to become severe, okay? So ahead of the main cold front will be back to here, low pressure system somewhere back in this area there with the counterclockwise rotation around it. Ahead of that, we still could be seeing some scattered storms that could be producing some elevated hail. But most likely, these will not be surface rooted. So these storms, what I mean by that, will not be producing tornadoes most likely early afternoon, probably not even damaging winds, probably just some elevated type of thunderstorms with some hail, some downpours, and some frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. So nonetheless, these still could pack a punch, but they probably won't be the strongest storms that we are expecting going into that 1, 2 o'clock in the time frame in the afternoon. So if you're around Davenport, Cedar Rapids, Chicago, Peoria, St. Louis, and down toward Little Rock, those probably won't be the strongest storms early on Friday afternoon that we are expecting. But as we go through the later portion of the day, we got some interesting things here. Again, we have the storms kind of sticking around down here. These ones could become severe, so we kind of have more of those storms in the morning kind of ratcheting up the intensity as they linger around into the afternoon. That's at least what the RAP model shows. We have more development back here into Iowa, right along the cold front we'll have to watch. Those storms could become quickly severe by 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You see how we start to see those really deep yellows start to develop here into east central Iowa. Those will be racing quickly to the east, and this is our main zone that I think the most severe part of the storm will be on Friday. And look at the coverage of these storms with the RAP model starting to really develop. So if anywhere up here, southeast Minnesota included, southwest Wisconsin, Iowa, I think there's a higher tornado chance up in this area. So if you live in Davenport, Quad Cities, Prairie du Chien, Dubuque, maybe all the way up to Rochester, La Crosse, even into portions of Waterloo, Iowa there, Rockford, Illinois, Peoria, those are the areas I'm concerned about, especially going into the late afternoon, early evening, because the low pressure system is up in this area and we have a lot of backing of the winds toward the low pressure system. So there could be an attendant higher threat for tornadoes up in this area. And I'm also watching a QLCS line developing down across the Mid-South, producing some tornadoes as they push farther to the east. So we got kind of a bimodal severe weather threat up here across portions of the Midwest. So we got one area to watch up in this area especially, and then a secondary area to watch down here across the Mid-South with that cold front as it pushes farther to the east. So we'll continue to watch that. My gut feeling is the highest tornado threat will actually be up here across the northernmost areas with that low pressure system and that triple point where the warm front, the low pressure system, and the cold front come together. That is actually my concern, is up across the northern areas. Not to say we won't see significant tornadoes or significant damaging winds or hail farther south, but this will mostly probably be a little bit more squelched in nature because of the earlier day storms. At least that's what the RAP model is showing. But still, those could be severe from St. Louis to Little Rock, Memphis, all those areas. Let's go move this clock to the end of the model run here and look at the massive line of storms that develops up here with the RAP model as we go in towards the northern and central Illinois portion of this. This could be a significant wind damage risk, and it's possible. Again, we'll have to wait and see what the Storm Prediction Center says out of this getting into tomorrow morning. But we very well could be talking about a developing derecho out of the northern side of this. We'll have to continue to watch the moisture trajectories with this. If we get any moisture interruption with some of the storms farther south, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that still have to come together for something like that, like a derecho to occur. But it is on the radar. We'll continue to watch it as we get a little bit closer, and we'll continue to monitor the situation. But I think the areas at the highest chance of tornadoes will probably be up here very close to that that low pressure system, with still a higher tornado chance down here, but I think the highest area overall will be in this area there, north central Illinois, eastern Iowa, southwest Wisconsin, and maybe, just maybe, as far north as southeastern Minnesota. With all of that wind shear, we have the backing of the winds toward the low pressure system up here, and that's why the tornado threat, I think, is concerning. So let me put two colors on here with you guys and kind of show you what I'm talking about. So at the surface, we're going to have winds coming in more out of the south or south-southeast here. That's in the red, and that's what we're seeing here out at the surface. But as we showed you, the mid-level jet, I'm going to put that in white for you guys. The winds are coming more out of the southwest or the west-southwest here and kind of turning more to the north. There is a lot of perpendicular lines here, and that is very concerning. More as where to the south, here's the mid-level jet kind of like this, but the winds will still be coming out of the south as well, and we'll have a lot of overlap, but just not as much as to the north here. So let me let me redraw this for you guys so I can get your bearings on what I'm talking about here. All right, so in the red, we have the backing of the winds back towards, and I probably should put that in, there we go. We got the winds backing toward the low pressure system, kind of like this here at the surface. And then we have that mid-level jet kind of coming in more out of the southwest or the south-southwest here. And you can see the perpendicular lines as they are rotating with height there from the surface all the way up into the mid-levels. Farther south, we have that kind of turning more north like this with the mid-level jet. And then we have the low-level winds near the surface more out of the south here. So not as much turning, but there still is turning with that across the southernmost area. So hopefully that makes sense to a lot of you guys out there, that I am most concerned about the area here up and toward portions of this area closer to the low pressure system. I'm still concerned down here, this area, but my primary area is up here, and my secondary area of concern would be down across the mid-south. So more of a bimodal threat for severe weather looks to occur as we go in towards, say, that Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and then transitioning probably more to a widespread damaging wind, hail, and tornado risk potentially, winding down a little bit as we go in toward late Friday evening and the overnight hours going in towards Saturday morning. So does anybody have any questions for me regarding with what I have already mentioned? If you have any questions of the severity of the storms, what I think will happen, your location and relative to the risk category that the Storm Prediction Center put out, put your question, comment, concern down in the live stream chat. I will get to as many questions, comments, concerns as I can here this evening. I can't promise I get to everybody's. I'm going to try and break down your question as much as I can because I want you guys to understand how serious this severe weather threat is. But if you guys have any questions, be sure to put them down below in the live stream chat, all right? So let's see. Ryan Smith says Cedar Rapids. So that's the first questions I see right now. Again, Cedar Rapids, going back to the RAP model here, we're going to use this model for right now. Cedar Rapids, this is the area of most concern. I'm very concerned about Cedar Rapids. So if you live there, Iowa City included, Davenport, Quad Cities, this is the area near that low pressure system I was talking about where we have the winds kind of backing toward the low pressure system. And then we have more of the mid-level jet kind of overlapping that. That's the area of very much of concern. So we'll have storms developing late afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock just to your west, likely across Des Moines, Waterloo, and Ottumwa, Iowa. Those will push farther towards the east as we get closer, say, towards that 5, 6 o'clock time frame as they get close to the Mississippi River. So you can see the Cedar Rapids area. Any one of these storms that develops could be producing some significant tornadoes, some damaging winds, probably over 70, if not over 80 miles per hour, and then a secondary risk for hail. I don't think the hail risk is going to be that big of a deal, but we still could be seeing those quarter to up to golf ball size hailstones with supercells, especially if they develop. So that will be something to watch as we go and say towards the Cedar Rapids area. So yes, Ryan Smith, definitely watch out for your weather forecast in Cedar Rapids over the next 24 hours or so. It is looking concerning. Thank you. It might be popcorn stuff. Yeah, definitely. Farther south, potentially, it could be. There very well could be. We could have some supercells developing ahead of the main line out here, and then we have the big surge of storms bowing out and pushing to the east. That is definitely a possibility as we go through the Friday time frame. Let's see. I'm in Princeton, Illinois. Kalina says, I'm in Princeton. This is for Friday. Yes, Friday, March 31st, 2023. And again, Princeton is an area down here just into Bureau County. This is in Bureau County, Illinois, just southwest of Chicago. This is a very big area of concern. The RAP model potentially, again, I'm not quoting the Storm Prediction Center or anything. This is my own thoughts. I think there could be a derecho potentially trying to set up here, or at least a broken line of supercells. So the mode of severe weather is in question. Some weather models bring a significant tornado risk up across portions of north central Illinois, including Princeton, with broken line of storms that will be supercells. Those would be the ones to produce those significant long track tornadoes, but also a threat for a derecho here as well. So that is still on the table as this pushes east. And what a derecho is just a long-lived, very fast-moving windstorm that moves across a large area very quickly. So if this develops, say, out in central and east Iowa, this will race across Illinois into Indiana and western Ohio through the evening hours. And likely for Princeton, you're probably in one of the higher zones for severe weather, potentially up to 80-mile-per-hour winds would be a good bet for you. 70, 80-mile-per-hour winds as this comes through. Maybe some embedded tornadoes, because if I switch it over here to the significant tornado parameter, you can see, look at how high the tornado parameter is for the Princeton area, going all the way back even to 6 o'clock here. Seeing some very high values. These are 8s, guys. These are 8s out of 10s, and it only goes to 10. So that suggests a 80% chance of a 50-mile radius of potentially a violent tornado in this area. So we'll continue to watch that as we go closer to this and see if this model continues to show this into tomorrow. But it is very concerning. So northern Illinois especially, be on high alert, definitely. Let's see here, everybody. What about Streeter, Illinois? Kevin says same thing. Streeter, Princeton, you guys are both in the zone potentially for a derecho, or even maybe if they go Princeton and Streeter. So definitely want to be on high alert there across those areas. All right. Chicago, you're a little bit farther to the east in Chicago. So Evanston, Waukegan down to Chicago there, Kankakee. You guys are kind of in the easternmost side of the system. You guys are in that slight risk across these areas. The storms will probably still be holding their own. There's a lot of wind shear in this environment. So even if you're in a level 2 of 5, I still expect the area in Chicago, including downtown Chicago there in Cook County, to have a rather significant squall line of storms move through. So yeah, 60 to 80-mile-per-hour winds in Chicago. I think there's a good bet potentially even for tornadoes near Chicago, with a higher threat of tornadoes west. So along and west of I-39 and north of I-74 there in Illinois is probably the primary area I'm watching for tornadoes, especially as you get closer toward that low pressure system. So in this area here, all across northern and central Illinois, I want you guys to be on high alert. What about Northeast Missouri, Jay says? Northeast Missouri, you're still in play here. Let me go back to the severe weather outlook for you on Friday. If you live in Northeast Missouri, you're kind of right now in that bullseye. And let me take this off so you guys can see that real quick. You're in the bullseye here for severe weather right now. So like the Kirksville area down and toward the Columbia, Jefferson City, St. Louis area here, you guys are in that level 3 of 5, that enhanced risk. And also you have a significant hatched area for severe weather. So this could include widespread damaging winds over 75 miles per hour, potentially 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or even stronger than that, depending on if we get a derecho. We could also be talking about some large hail, 1 inch or greater, and potentially even some EF2 or stronger type of tornadoes. There definitely is a threat for violent tornadoes up here going in toward the Friday timeframe in Northeast Missouri as well. So yeah, again, Kirksville down to Columbia, Hannibal down there towards the Jefferson City, St. Louis area, Quincy, Illinois. You guys are all in that middle of that area right now. If I skip over your questions here, the chat's going very quick. So if I just ask it again, don't spam the chat. Just keep asking your questions. I definitely appreciate that. These are just radar models. No, these are what you call mesoscale convective models, or CAMs, convective allowing models. These are actually the best of the best when it comes to closer to these events, because what a global model does is it kind of shows the synoptic setup, but it doesn't get kind of lower down toward the ground to show how severe these storms are. So that's why the RAP, the NAM 3KM especially, and even the HRRR model that is just coming out here, that would be very helpful in determining severe weather and its severity going into the day on Friday. They're very accurate. So you're wrong. No, they are very accurate weather models. This model, the RAP model, the NAM3KM, and also the HRRR, all are very accurate weather models. They may have different opinions, but they still do a very good job when we come to this event. So you are absolutely wrong about that, sir. Sorry about to bust your bubble there, but it is wrong. These are very good weather models. How does it look for Cincinnati for Friday night? Well, Cincinnati, you're farther to the east. You're right there in that easternmost side of that slight risk, so you have a 15% chance for severe storms in Cincinnati. We still could be seeing, again, if a derecho develops back here, or at least a squall line of storms, what we call a QLCS, and it races east, we still could have some wind energy left over for maybe 60, perhaps 70 mile per hour winds in Cincinnati, some large hail, and probably even a threat for tornadoes. But I think, again, the highest threat for significant weather right now is in that red area, that red hatched area west, into especially probably western and southwestern Indiana there, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, western Kentucky. That's the area we're watching closely for that region. All right, so Cincinnati, you still have to be on the lookout for severe weather, but it doesn't look as significant as it is going to be to the west, at least what it looks like right now. All right, so we'll continue to monitor it. Again, things could change. This outlook could change just a little bit as we get closer to this event. So don't take this outlook with stone, like with a, etch it in stone or anything like that. Things will change. I actually do think there will be expansions, upgrades, stuff like that here. And I actually go over that right now for you guys before I keep answering your questions, because I want you guys to, maybe this will answer some of your questions that you have. So my latest thoughts on looking at some of the models here, again, just right now, things could change through the overnight and even into Thursday, but I think there's a possibility that this may shift a little bit farther east or kind of stay the same with the western side of this enhanced risk area. So Des Moines, you're kind of on the line. This could still shift out of your area, but I think the eastern side of this enhanced risk could kind of expand. So I think in kind of like this, all of northeast Illinois, getting through portions of west central Indiana, central Kentucky here. So like Chicago, Rockford, Illinois, Indianapolis, Bloomington, over there toward the Muncie region, Gary, Indiana. Those areas, I think we could possibly see an expansion with that enhanced risk across these areas with the overnight update. And I'm going to probably put my best bet. Again, I don't work for the Storm Prediction Center, but I want to kind of give you my opinion on these things, is that I think with more of an accurate weather depiction here, that there was somewhere in this area here, there will probably likely be some type of moderate risk upgrade as we go in towards, say, the update tomorrow at 1 in the morning. I think the Storm Prediction Center, again, it might not precisely be how I drew it up on here, but it will probably be very close to how this looks on the map. So going into tomorrow. So I just wanted to put that out there. I definitely think a moderate risk upgrade, a level 4 or 5 is likely. Is it expected right now? No, I think it's likely, but I do think definitely, again, this is the area I am most concerned about here with looking at the latest models for a moderate risk. And also, if that doesn't occur, the moderate risk could also be shifted a little farther south too, depending on what the model you look at. So the moderate risk could also be down here as well. But right now, so I think the moderate risk, again, will be across eastern Iowa, portions of eastern Missouri, and then down into west central Illinois right now with what I'm looking at. And again, we'll continue to fine tune this as we get a little bit closer. All right, so we'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does as we get a little bit closer. How is it looking for northern lower Michigan around the Manistee area? You guys are on the cold side of the system, so actually the opposite. You guys are expected to see some heavy snow up here into northern lower Michigan here. I'm not exactly sure where the Manistee area is. I don't see it up here. I see Gaylord. I see Traverse City, Frankfort, the Sheboygan area, Rogers City. If you guys live up into those areas, I think you guys could definitely see maybe a few inches of snow, the UP of Michigan included, probably even some very heavy snow, some plowable snow up there in the far northern Wisconsin, the Arrowhead of Minnesota, the UP of Michigan, like the Duluth area on east toward Marquette there, the Houghton region, and then getting into Ontario, Canada. Definitely some decent snows, plowable snows for you up there. Tina says, what about Northern Arkansas? So Northern Arkansas, you are actually in a enhanced risk, that level 3 of 5, and that is actually a significant hatched risk for severe weather in Northern Arkansas. So if you live in like Little Rock, Jonesboro, Blytheville, I can kind of zoom into some of these other cities, Mountain Home, Harrison, the Walnut Ridge area, the Mountain View, Batesville area, Russellville, you guys are all in that 30% hatched risk for significant severe weather. So long track, violent tornadoes, EF2 or stronger, 75 plus mile per hour wind gusts, and the 2-inch or larger hail is definitely a possibility and still in the cards here as we go into northern portions of Arkansas. So all across northern Arkansas, unless you live back here toward Fayetteville or Fort Smith, along I-49 there, you guys will be in that significant risk, at least with this outlook, as we go into Friday. And again, things will change, so we'll continue to watch this moving forward, but that is currently what it looks like in northern Arkansas right now. All right. That is not what I wanted to do. That was a live cam. All right, so Northwest Tennessee, Daniel Smith says, Northwest Tennessee, yes, you are in that enhanced and also that significant hatched risk. So if you live into Clarksville, Dixon, along in west of Nashville there, down I-40, so like Jackson, Tennessee, Dyersburg, Memphis, all you guys are in the threat here for a level 3 of 5 and enhanced risk. That's the highest level threat so far on the map. Paris, Union City, Martin, all you guys are included. So if you live in those areas, just be on high alert because there could be rather intense storms. Again, violent tornadoes that could be EF2 or stronger, 75 plus mile per hour winds, and some 2-inch or larger hail. Definitely a possibility down here in northwest Tennessee on Friday. What is this? This is a live stream for severe weather. That's what this is. What will Central Ohio see during the event? Central Ohio, so like the Columbus area over here, getting in towards the Marion region, and down toward Chillicothe, Springfield, you guys are in that marginal risk. So the lowest threat for severe weather on the scale of, 0 to 5, but 0 would just be general garden variety storms. So the severe weather risk starts at a 1. So you're at a 1 out of 5, a marginal risk here. And that actually extends up into far northeastern portions of Indiana and then getting up toward the Kalamazoo region into lower Michigan. And again, that actually extends even farther south into eastern Kentucky down there, far western Virginia toward the Huntington region, and then eastern Tennessee. So Knoxville, Chattanooga, you guys are in that 1 out of 5, just northwest of the Atlanta metro area. Birmingham, Tuscaloosa for right now, you're very close to that slight risk, but you're still in that 1 out of 5. Same thing in Jackson, Mississippi. You're in that 1 out of 5 down there as well. So we'll just continue to watch it as it evolves. But right now, a lower threat. The storms will be weakening in central Ohio as they move in from west to east. So they'll be strongest out here. In this area here out west, they will be strongest, but as they push in toward western and central Ohio, they will be losing their punch as they move farther east because it'll be early Saturday morning before they reach you there in central Ohio. Kind of an unfavorable time of day for severe weather. Jameson says South Bend, Indiana. Yes, South Bend, you are in that level 2 of 5, that slight risk up here. You're very close to being in actually a marginal risk, so you're kind of in the lower spectrum. But like I said earlier, the Storm Prediction Center definitely could be expanding this farther east, so that enhanced risk could end up getting a little bit closer to your area. It just depends on what happens with the Storm Prediction Center going in towards the nighttime tonight with their update. But right now, you're in the level 2 of 5, a slight risk for severe weather. The more significant weather is going to be west of South Bend, actually into western and northwest Illinois. That's as close as right now it looks to get to you. How will it look like for Milwaukee? Milwaukee, you guys are actually in a marginal risk right now. You're very close to the slight risk, so pretty much I would just consider Milwaukee in a slight risk, basically. But right now, officially, you're in just a marginal risk, so you're in that level 1 out of 5. But again, you're so close to that. Again, this is a 50-mile radius, so if you go 50 miles south of Milwaukee, you're easily in that slight risk for severe weather. And again, an expansion is possible. So I do think there's a chance that the slight risk could go a little bit farther north there towards maybe West Bend there into Wisconsin, into eastern Wisconsin, that is, Milwaukee downtown, maybe even Kalamazoo there, and then an enhanced risk could get a little bit closer toward the southern side of Milwaukee as we get there toward the early morning hours on Thursday with the new update. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does. Aurora, Naperville area. Yeah, Aurora, Naperville, you guys are in a very dangerous situation for severe weather if you live in Aurora or Naperville. Right now, both you guys are actually in the, Aurora, Naperville, you are in that level 2 of 5, slight risk, but you are so close to the significant risk. And like I've been saying here multiple times, that I think the enhanced risk could be pulled a little farther east. So don't be surprised if you're caught in that significant wind risk, significant tornadoes, even some damaging hail on Friday, with possibly a moderate risk upgrade to your west or southwest. So we'll continue to watch that. But right now, it looks like west of I-39 here is the highest risk generally of the most significant severe weather going into the day on Friday. Woodford County, Illinois, the riverside of Woodford, central Illinois, central Illinois, all of central Illinois. So Peoria, Galesburg, Canton, Bloomington Normal, Champaign, Urbana, down here toward Decatur, Macomb, where Western Illinois University is. All you guys there will be in that enhanced risk. You're kind of in the middle of that significant threat. That's where we could have a line of storms or possible derecho move through. We'll continue to watch it. Or if the storms stay more discreet, we could have some significant long track tornadoes. So we'll kind of have to resolve some of the mode of severe weather with these storms moving a little bit closer toward that time frame. Omaha, Nebraska on Thursday, Peggy says. Omaha, we're back here to the west. You guys are not in the severe risk. You are actually going to see that storm occlude. So you're probably going to be in more of a risk for snow, actually, on the backside. We could have some rumbles of thunder early on, but I think all that will press off toward the east as that low develops out here and kind of presses more to the northeast. But some of the snow from the west could actually sneak in during the late afternoon and evening there for Omaha and kind of sneak in there from the west as that low pressure system really strengthens and wraps in that, that cold air and moisture. Definitely possible. Yeah, the Woodford County area in Illinois, yes, you are under that enhanced risk. I expect significant severe weather, EF2 plus tornadoes, potentially even some 70 to 80 plus mile per hour winds, and even some, damaging hail, 1 inch to 2 inches or larger, into the Woodford area. How will it look for Kansas City, Devin Hall says. Kansas City, you're right on the line there. Again, the cold front's going to be very close to you. Right now, you're in that kind of right along the line there of a marginal, which is a 1 out of 5, or that slight risk, which is actually a 2 out of 5. So if you live in those areas, yes, we have a threat potentially for severe weather, but I think the heaviest threat of severe weather will be east to you, east of Kansas City. So we're talking Kirksville, Missouri, over to Quincy, Illinois, the Hannibal region, Jefferson City, Columbia, the Sedalia area, getting down to the Springfield, Missouri, and then, O'Fallon, St. Louis, Alton, all you guys out here, Cape Girardeau, well off to the east there. East of Kansas City. If you guys are here, have not pressed the like button, please press that like button, the thumbs up button down below the live stream, so we get more people in the live stream here. The more likes we get, the more people on here. So keep pressing that like button, everybody. And again, if it's very much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, so you get all of my weather updates. I will be posting a video again, like I do most of every day at 9 a.m. in the morning. So do get ready for that. Okay. I definitely appreciate all the likes out there. Near Michigan City, Indiana, and Gary, Indiana. So let's go over here to Indiana again. Gary, Indiana, right now, you are in a level 2 of 5. That's a slight risk for severe weather. Again, like I said, we could be seeing that expansion farther east, so that that enhanced risk could cover Chicago and Gary, Indiana, and maybe close to Michigan City there. Okay, so Michigan City and Gary, you guys could get into that enhanced risk potentially as we go in towards that update at 1 a.m. in the morning tomorrow from the Storm Prediction Center. That definitely is a possibility. So I live in Springfield, Missouri. We will not be in the severe weather area on Friday. Springfield, Missouri. Yes, you are actually you're in the enhanced risk. So if you live in Springfield, Missouri, you guys are in the enhanced risk for severe storms. You're on the western side of it, back toward Republic there, and then Springfield. But you in Ozark, you guys are still in that, all the way down to Branson, Missouri, Lebanon. You guys are all in that enhanced risk, and 30% hatch risk for strong tornadoes, EF2 or stronger, significant widespread damaging winds, 60 to 80 miles per hour or stronger, and then also the 1 to 2 inch plus hailstones. So definitely a pretty precarious situation down there in toward the Springfield area potentially as we go in towards the day on Friday. Granite City, Illinois. So Granite City, I do believe that is down here towards St. Louis. You guys are in a level 3 of 5. So if you live in the Granite City area, yes, you guys are in a level 3 of 5. That is an enhanced risk. You're right in the middle of that. I do think it's possible you could get upgraded to a level 4 of 5 in the Granite City region. So definitely going to kind of be watching out for that area going into the day on Friday. Marcellus says, what about North Iowa? So northern Iowa up here, you're in the northernmost extent of this. So the low pressure system is going to be very close to you. It could be interesting. So like Mason City to Fort Dodge, over to Waterloo, Dubuque, Iowa, Elkader, Iowa, those areas, you guys could be in an interesting situation there, just north of Des Moines. The low pressure system is going to be farther up towards the north here, something like this that I'm drawing on here, pushing off to the east-northeast. You're going to have that warm front settling somewhere up across those areas with the cold front. You're going to be near the triple point, so I would watch out for a gotcha tornado threat up here. So every time you see a strong low pressure system like we have coming in here like this, and such a dynamic system, you have to really watch out across areas you don't expect to see tornadoes. Like northern Iowa, yeah, you could definitely see a strong tornado potentially if the right ingredients come together. So I'm talking about you across I-35 up here toward Webster City, Fort Dodge, Mason City, Forest City, the Elkader area, Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. We could have a stronger tornado potentially going into the day on Friday. So that will be something to watch out for. Thank you so much for answering my question. You're definitely you're very welcome, Julie. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And again, everybody hit that like button. We're up to 143. Let's get 200 likes here before the next 10 minutes, guys. At 8:30 Central Time, let's see if we can get to 200 likes. I definitely appreciate it. Krista Davis, Indianapolis, Indiana. So yes, Indianapolis, you are currently in that level 2 of 5, a slight risk for severe weather. The storms will be coming into your area probably late evening, so after 10 o'clock, that's most likely for your area. So this will be an overnight threat for widespread damaging winds, possibly a few embedded tornadoes and some damaging hail, so watch out there in Indianapolis. Right now, you're on the lower end of the spectrum. The storms could be slowly weakening as they push east into Indianapolis, but again, an expansion east with that enhanced risk is still on the table. So we'll watch that very closely. Do you think a lot of lightning and thunder in Michigan City? Yes, absolutely. Yes, lots of lightning, lots of thunder at least. For sure, you'll see thunderstorms, whether or not they'll be severe. And again, I do want to note to you guys, just because you see how big the area is here, I'll zoom out for you. And again, all this other coloring, that's just the snowfall. I'll get rid of that here. All these areas here in the green, yellow, orange, that's a marginal, slight, and then enhanced risk area in the orange. That's a level 3 of 5. That means that you could have severe weather. It doesn't necessarily mean that every single person in this area is going to experience 75 plus mile per hour winds. Even though it does say the probability is higher for that, does not mean that every single square inch of this orange shaded area is going to see hurricane force winds. The probability is higher than climatology, so that's why we have to watch out for this threat. But yes, I think it is possible quite a few areas, probably about, again, 30% of this area will probably experience at least hurricane force winds. That's basically what that means. So we'll continue to watch it. Will Fort Wayne, Indiana possibly get a tornado? It's possible, yes. You're in a level 2 of 5, so yes, severe weather is possible. All modes, so we're talking damaging winds, tornadoes, and hail. I think as it comes into Fort Wayne overnight, it'll transition more to a damaging straight line wind event, but we certainly still could be seeing some tornadoes embedded in that line farther to the east, which would include the Fort Wayne area. You're excited for next week? Yeah, another big system next week. We're not going to talk about that, though, in this live stream. I'll reserve that for my video tomorrow morning. What about Champaign, Illinois? Yeah, Champaign, you're kind of more, again, in a precarious situation down here. So the Rantoul area, Paxton, down to Champaign-Urbana, Decatur, Springfield, Peoria, Danville, all you guys, Pontiac, you guys are all in that level 3 of 5, that enhanced risk. And you also here, I'll switch this over because I haven't in a while, so you can I can show you this. These are the probabilities of severe storms. If you're in the red area down here into Champaign, Illinois, you're in, and also you can see these dashed lines. that it means we could be seeing those significant tornadoes, potentially EF2 tornadoes or larger, and also those 70 to 80 mile per hour or stronger type of winds, and potentially even some damaging hail. So that would be an area to watch going forward towards eastern Illinois. Do you expect the enhanced risk to move into Northwest Indiana? I think there's a great chance, actually. I think there's probably, if I had to label it with a percentage, my opinion, I would say there's a 70% chance that gets pushed eastward towards like the Gary area, but into South Bend or Fort Wayne, that's a little far-fetched. But I think like a few counties here in towards portions of like Northwest Indiana, the Lake County here, and a couple other counties, we definitely could be seeing that toward like the Gary area, here. Let me zoom in. Michigan City, Valparaiso, maybe Logansport down to Lafayette, Attica. All you guys down here potentially could see that upgrade. We'll just have to wait and see overnight. But right now you're in that level 205, that slight risk. But yeah, I could see that shift a little bit farther east, or at least maybe even expanded farther east into Northwest Indiana, at least a few counties. Do I think widespread power outages in Michigan City? Well, it's hard to say. Anytime there's severe weather, there's definitely a risk for power outages. I can't pinpoint whether or not Michigan City is going to see power outages with the storm. I'm not that advanced, but I do think that there is a chance for that, yes. Because anytime you see severe weather, there definitely is a chance for power outages. Absolutely. Springfield, Missouri, again, you guys are right on the line. Again, here's the significant hatch risk for storms. We could be seeing significant tornadoes, EF2 or stronger, damaging hail, and again, widespread damaging winds. Over 75 miles per hour is a risk here in towards Springfield, Missouri. Sean says, what about Kansas City, Missouri? Again, Kansas City, you're right on the line between a marginal and slight risk. The storms will initiate over your area. By far, though, the strongest of the storms will be here. So here's Kansas City. I'll circle it for you. Kansas City is right here into portions of far western Missouri. I think the strongest storms will be well to your north and east. So these areas up here into, say, like Iowa, northeast Missouri, west central Illinois will probably see the strongest of the storms on Friday. What is the tornado threat for Watseka, Illinois? I'm not sure where that is. Let me look here on my laptop. Just give me one moment. Watseka, Illinois. I think that's in central Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. East central Illinois. You guys are in the... Let me see here. You guys are just north of Danville there. So Watseka, you guys are in right on the line there. So I would basically consider you in that enhanced risk in the Watseka area. But I definitely think that, again, this risk could expand a little farther west or east. But right now, I do think that the threat is pretty real there for Watseka. So yes, significant long track tornadoes, EF2s or stronger possible, widespread 60 to 80 plus mile per hour winds. Again, probably 70 to 80 mile per hour winds is a good bet, and some damaging hail. Oklahoma looks in the red zone here as well. Nope, Oklahoma is not in the red zone. There could be some severe weather into eastern Oklahoma here, like Tulsa, down here towards like far western Arkansas, like Fayetteville, Fort Smith, some of these areas. But it's going to be a lower end threat for storms. These areas back here in eastern Oklahoma will be the storms that will move through Friday morning. So we're not going to have a lot of energy built up. The energy will be building farther to your north and east. So Oklahoma is not really too much into that severe risk on Friday. You live in Liberty, Kansas City? Yeah, that area, you're right on kind of that line between no severe weather and severe weather. If it shifts farther east, you won't see it. If it shifts farther west, you'll see it more. Good evening. What should North Indiana expect? Northern Indiana right now, you're under that level 205, that slight risk for severe weather. So that encompasses, say, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Gary, Indiana, up there toward the Kokomo region, Logansport, Huntington, Lafayette, Goshen, Valparaiso, all you guys over here. Again, it's a decent threat for severe weather this far out. There could be an upgrade potentially, or an expansion of the enhanced risk area farther east to include parts of northern Indiana, but probably northwestern Indiana. would be a good bet. All right. Like I said earlier, probably about a 70% chance of that happening, in my opinion. But again, I don't work for the Storm Prediction Center, so I can't make I can't make a forecast like they can. But I definitely think that's a possibility. You're welcome, Frank. Thank you for joining. Riley says Western Michigan, anything there? Not really. Western Michigan, you're kind of on the more of a cold rain to snow side of things, especially up toward Traverse City. If you go southward toward Muskogee, Grand Rapids, and especially like Holland and Kalamazoo, those areas, we may start to see some strong storms, but I don't think the most severe storms from this event will be there. I think that'll be back west into southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and back into eastern Iowa. No, I am not chasing the storm, but I could, but they're going to be moving so fast. I'm not chasing storms. Mississippi, we haven't talked about Mississippi too much down here farther south. Plains are cool, says Mississippi, question mark. Right now, the highest chance of significant weather will be across northern Mississippi. So, like the Corinth area down here to Tupelo, Greenville, and then up toward the Clarksdale region, Oxford. Those are the areas that we could be talking about some significant tornadoes. Again, EF2 or stronger, widespread damaging winds of 75 miles per hour or greater, and also the threat here is real for damaging hail. So this 2-inch or larger hailstones, you're actually in a significant hatched risk, a 30% shading or greater, so 30% or greater probability of significant storms there and towards northern Mississippi. So yep, we got that. Carol says Northwest Alabama here. Again, if you live in far northwestern Alabama, so like the Florence area, you do have a threat for some storms that could become severe. Again, you do have the threat there for storms that, again, could rotate. You could have some rotating storms, some damaging hail, and also some significant damaging winds. So like Florence down to Russellville. Otherwise, the Huntsville region, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, you're in that lower threat for severe weather. The farther south you go into central Alabama, that is something we're continuing to watch as well. Changes are likely still with this forecast again, guys, because we're still 2 days out from this event, or just a little less than 2 days out. So we'll continue to kind of monitor the situation as it develops here. Again, I would definitely appreciate it if everybody would press that thumbs up button. Let's try to get to 200 likes. We need 30 more people to like this live stream to get to 200 this evening. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new. If you have not yet pressed the subscribe button, each and every one of you guys, I promise you guys, we have very good weather forecasts here on this page. I do a daily weather forecast each and every morning at 9 a.m. We cover North America, especially southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics during tropical weather season. I do longer range weather forecasts. Does not disappoint. So if you like detailed weather forecasts, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. Fort Wayne, again, we've talked about Indiana quite often here. Again, Indiana, yes. Fort Wayne, you potentially could. There's a 15% shading for severe weather. That's a slight risk. That's a level 2 of 5 on the scale that goes all the way to 5, 5 being the worst, and 0 being the no severe weather. So, or at least 1 being the lowest. Thank you so much, Fighting Spirit, for dropping a like and subscribing. Thank you so much. Riley, I just subscribed and liked. Thanks for the weather update. You're definitely very welcome. Thank you for subscribing and liking as well, both Fighting Spirit and Riley. Appreciate it. Is there anything in Metro East St. Louis? Yes, St. Louis, there is, you're right smack dab in the middle of that. So St. Charles, Chesterfield, Edwardsville, Belleville, St. Louis, the O'Fallon area, Alton, you guys are all in that threat for significant severe weather. You're right in the middle of that enhanced risk in the entire St. Louis metro area, surrounding it on all sides there. So if you live down here, definitely want to be on high alert on Friday for significant long track tornadoes that could be EF2 or stronger, widespread winds up to, 60, 80 plus miles an hour, and damaging hail over 2 inches in diameter. Definitely a possibility. Great job. Hope Mississippi is spared after last Friday. Yes, absolutely. The Rolling Fork area. Hopefully everybody is recovering very well down there. Our hearts go out to them. So hopefully they don't have any severe weather. But we do have to warn them for severe weather. because there is a chance. So let me go down here. I think the Rolling Fork area is in the Rolling Fork area right here, all the way up towards Silver City again. Winona's kind of on that line there. We could be seeing some significant damaging winds there and some tornadoes as well, and some damaging hail. So we're going to continue to watch portions of Mississippi as well. Planes are cool. Subscribed and liked. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hello, Jonathan Green. Thanks for joining. You're welcome. You're welcome, Michael. Thanks for the info. You're welcome. Prayers for all the people in very severe weather. Absolutely, Riley. Any problems expected in Raleigh, North Carolina? No, you guys are outside of the risk. Raleigh, North Carolina, you're way outside the risk here. I'm not expecting anything significant. There could be a risk of severe storms as we get closer to Saturday. Again, that'll probably be more of a marginal risk of severe weather, maybe a slight risk, but I think it's a little bit too far out from Saturday. It's only Wednesday right now on March 29th, and Saturday is actually April Fool's Day, April 1st. And I ain't fooling you. There could be a chance for stronger storms, but the Storm Prediction Center does not have a risk for Raleigh here right now for Saturday. Not yet. Have to go. We'll talk to you later. Good night. Good night, Linda. Thanks for joining. What's the time frame for South Central Illinois? Rebecca says, I think during the late afternoon and through the evening hours. So anytime during the afternoon and evening hours would be a great chance for severe weather down here into South Central Illinois. So like Springfield, Bloomington Normal, Decatur, Carbondale, all those areas, Effingham, Charleston there in Eastern Illinois University areas, those areas there, St. Louis, all you guys could be seeing some big storms anytime during the late afternoon and through the mid-evening. So probably narrowing it down between about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and about 10 o'clock Friday night. That's the timing as of now. That could change a little bit as we get closer. Dropped a like and have been a subscriber for a while. Still wondering about the risk for Effingham County. Yeah, absolutely. I just mentioned Effingham. Effingham down up there toward the Charleston region, in Mount Vernon up here, Vandalia. You guys are all in the threat here. Taylorville included, Tuscola. All you guys could be seeing some significant damaging winds. You guys are kind of right in the middle of the potential for violent tornadoes as well. So possibly an upgrade to a moderate risk down here as well into Effingham is still there. We definitely could be seeing that. So definitely keep a close eye to the weather forecast. Southern Ohio has been a lot more active. What are you thinking for impact with the system? Southern Ohio, the storms will be weakening as they move towards like the Columbus, Chillicothe area, and then over there toward Parkersburg, Dayton, all those areas. The storms will be strongest across southwest and western Ohio, and then as they move into eastern Ohio and central Ohio here, they're going to be kind of losing their punch. So I think they'll be on a weakening trend, and they won't reach southern Ohio until probably early Saturday morning, so around sunrise or so. It'll be pretty late or early, I guess, depending on which way you look at it. Thanks for the update. Hopefully I get home. Hopefully, yeah, you definitely want to stay safe. So again, be weather aware, Rebecca, and hopefully everything goes well. And just, again, stay safe out there on Friday. Jackson, Mississippi. You're right on the line between a marginal and slight risk. So you're in that 5% to 15% probability of severe weather on Friday. So we're going to continue to watch that. Hey guys, we only need 10 more likes. Can we get 10 more likes to get to 200 likes on this live stream? Again, that would be much appreciated. Again, keep your questions coming. I'll be here for a little bit, little while longer to answer any questions you guys have about the severe weather. That's why we're here this evening, to get you guys more aware. And I may go live tomorrow, depending on what happens with the models. If we have an upgrade to a moderate risk or something like that, I probably would go live tomorrow if that does occur potentially. So just hit that notification bell so you get the live stream, and as well as, like I said, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll be posting a bunch of updates on my community tab. Follow me on Twitter. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at hweather420. It's on the screen or also in the description below. You guys can watch my Spring Forecast 2023 video, also my educational video about derechos. That is below in the description as well. Lots of great stuff down there. Did I miss what you said for Springfield? Yes, Springfield, Missouri, you are in that enhanced risk. So you have a significant chance for, so like Springfield to Ozark, Missouri, you have a 30% chance or greater of severe weather and possibly even a threat for significant severe weather. So 75 plus mile per hour wind gusts, EF2 or stronger tornadoes, and also 2-inch or larger hailstones. Definitely a possibility there in towards Springfield, Missouri. Hello from Grand Forks, North Dakota. When's winter going to end? Um, I hate to say it, but not anytime soon. Up here into Grand Forks, into what did you say, North Dakota? Yeah, Grand Forks. There's actually, again, I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, but there definitely could be a threat for a blizzard up here. Even I know you're seeing snow this week potentially, but there could be a major blizzard up there potentially that I'm seeing potentially going into like say Tuesday, Wednesday next week. We'll just continue to watch that. All right. Key to the word potential. Got to go, everyone. Stay alert and stay safe. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining. Much appreciated. I know it's getting kind of late out there. It's it's a weekday and work night, so everybody is kind of getting ready to hit the hay, get ready for bed here pretty soon. So I understand that. Just wanted to get the word out to as many people as possible. And again, we could be live again tomorrow, so just continue to watch the forecast as we go along here. You're welcome, Stealth. Thank you so much for being here. Again, hit that subscribe button and slap the like button on the way out. I'll definitely be searching for a live stream Friday to watch. My area is in a hopefully I can do a live stream Friday. I actually am from Northern Illinois, so I'm actually in this the enhanced significant risk for severe weather. So it's possible if I lose power, I can't go live. So we'll continue to watch and see what happens. But I'll probably try to go live on Friday for this event. It's the thumbs up button, Sharkbait. It's the like button, but it's just the thumbs up. So just press the thumbs up button. I should just say thumbs up from now on. This looks like one of the most active Aprils we've seen in a really long time. Do you think April might be worse than this upcoming May? I think April and May are going to be equally pretty intense. I think there's a threat that we could see more tornado outbreaks in April and May. It just depends on, mesoscale details with the setups and all that. Our first chance of severe weather into April will actually be early next week on Tuesday. Storm Prediction Centers already has a slight risk outline for that already 7 days out. So, but we're not going to talk about that quite yet. Internet Enjoyer, we appreciate you, Weather on the Go. Thank you so much. Sharkbait, thanks for liking and subscribing. Much appreciated. Wish you could have some thunderstorms. Well, soon. We're getting closer here into the middle of spring eventually, so everybody should start seeing more storms eventually. Hopefully it's a bust. I'm not looking forward to the storms. I do love heavy rain, though. Well, certainly there's going to be a lot of heavy rain to go around here. That is for sure. So, again, let's see what the HRRR model is showing here. Let's get this outlook off the page. Let's go and see if the 0Z HRRR is updated. Let's see here. Kind of get the latest on some of these weather models. It's almost there, 28 hours out. It only goes to Thursday at 11 p.m., so we're not quite there yet. And the 0Z NAM's not even out yet, so let's see here. The wrap model. We're getting closer, guys. But again, the wrap model has the storms developing as we go in towards the afternoon. So let's kind of break this down one more time for you with the timing. This is 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Not much happening. There's not much happening. We're just seeing some warm, moist air moving to the north here. Some storms farther east. These won't be severe. Maybe some hailers, but they probably won't be severe. Just producing some heavy rainfall. Same thing down here across the Mid-South. Maybe some hailers. These probably won't be producing anything too significant. 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Going towards the noon time frame, we start to see a couple showers, maybe some isolated renegade storms developing here across the lower Midwest. Again, not that big of a deal. Still watching for some stronger storms, but not that big of a deal by noon. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, same thing. We might have to pop up some more storms. These ones could become more impressive potentially toward 3 o'clock. These could become severe, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with these storms by the time we get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon there. But here's the most concerning part about this here right now is about 7 o'clock in the evening, early evening, as that cold front comes in. A lot of dynamic. We have a strong mid-level jet moving in here. That was a terrible arrow. Across portions of the Ohio Valley and portions of the Midwest. And again, we have those winds in the mid levels actually bending north here. So that is the concern. As we have backing of the winds, we could be seeing some impressive hodographs up here, which is just a term for looking at the, the curvature in the atmosphere, the turning of the winds with height. I think we definitely could be talking about a nasty squall line of storms across north central Illinois, maybe another nasty squall line here down into portions of southeast Illinois, down towards Paducah, Memphis, and then even into eastern portions of Arkansas by 7 o'clock. But by far the highest tornado threat will be up here as we have the winds kind of curving back toward the low pressure system. And then in red here out of the southwest, we're going to have more of the mid-level jet. So a lot of rotation up here in the environment. That is the concern on Friday. What about northeastern Kentucky? Christy Manning says, I just popped back on. Northeastern Kentucky, again, 7 o'clock. We could be watching out for some storms here. These likely will not be severe, though. We could have, some heavy rainfall down there. So like the Huntington region, Lexington, Louisville up there, Nicholsville, Richmond, Kentucky. We're not going to see anything too crazy with this, and I'll go back to the outlook real quick to show you, Christy. I'll go back to the super weather outlook for you. This is the current outlook right now for Northeast Kentucky. Depending on where you are, if you're in Frankfort, Lexington, Nicholsville, Louisville, you guys are all in and on up towards Cincinnati, Hamilton, Georgetown. That's crossing into southwestern Ohio. You guys could be talking about potentially a severe weather outbreak with a level 205. That's a slight risk. Farther east from there in the dark green there, so Chillicothe, Ohio, down to Portsmouth, Huntington, and then eastern and northeast Kentucky there. We could be talking around I-64, Highway 23, Highway 15. That's probably more of a marginal risk. The storms will be weakening as they push into northeastern Kentucky. Okay, so as they move in, Christy, the storms will probably be weakening, and they won't reach you until well after dark. So this will be well after midnight, probably early Saturday morning by the time they move in there. Hi from Pedro's, hi from Mexico. Will be in effect. When is the storm? This is on Friday. The storm's on Friday across the United States. Do you think Eastern Tennessee is clear from major storms? No, not quite. I think Eastern Tennessee, there still could be severe weather. So like Cookeville, Crossville, and then a lesser extent over here toward like Harriman, the Cumberland Plateau, and then in towards the Knoxville region down to Chattanooga. We still could be seeing that level 205, that slight risk in the yellow, and then that level 105 here in the green. So just to get your bearings on this, I'll put it in the black color here. You can see a level 3 of 5 back to the west into western and maybe middle Tennessee. The cutoff line for that is like the Nashville Franklin area. And then we have a 2 out of 5 in this area in the yellow. The cutoff for that is pretty much Crossville, Tennessee there. And then we have a 1 out of 5 across Knoxville down to Chattanooga there. And then a 0 with no severe weather. So eventually, as this moves farther east, we're going to see the storms start to get a little less intense. An unfavorable time of day for severe weather as they push across portions of middle and eastern Tennessee. How about Indiana? Again, much of Indiana is still in that risk. You're either in a level 2 of 5 that in the slight risk, unless you live in far northeast Indiana. That's a level 1 of 5 for like the Kendallville area, Auburn, and then up towards Sturgis there in Michigan. Otherwise, if you live in Indianapolis, Lafayette, Bloomington, Muncie, you guys are all in that level 2 of 5 in that yellow shaded color. The level 3 of 5 is farther west, but if you're just joining, I did mention earlier that there could be an expansion to that enhanced risk farther east overnight. That could include parts of western or central Indiana. So we'll continue to wait and see what happens when the Storm Prediction Center does that overnight. You're in Ashland. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. You're in Ashland. I'm not exactly sure. Let me kind of zoom in here. Is it a smaller city, Christy? Yeah, I'm not sure where the Ashland area is, but yes, absolutely. I think you guys are going to be seeing more of a marginal threat. Hello. Thank you for joining. Looks like the calm before the storm, unless you're on the West Coast. Yeah, the West Coast, you're getting the storm right now. That's the same storm that's going to bring this severe weather. With all the rain and snow out west here in California, that's what we're seeing. Tsunami Tommy, greetings, weather on the go. The front went through my area of California and now just on stable air. Good thoughts with all there, with you all there. Take heed and be safe. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the message there, Tsunami Tommy. Again, thanks for supporting the channel and subscribing and everything. Much appreciated. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the concern. Is that the storm, it's going to strengthen as it moves into the Midwest, and that's why we're seeing all the severe weather like we are across those areas there. So again, guys, keep pressing that like button. Again, rapid fire, guys. Press that thumbs up button down below. If you see the thumbs up button down below, press it. Again, the more thumbs up we get, the more people that join the live stream. So I definitely appreciate that, guys. If you haven't already, press the thumbs up button down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Press the subscribe button as well. Much appreciated. And as you guys know, we are already over 26,000 subscribers thanks to you. We're up to 26,061 people. So thank you, thank you, thank you for everybody supporting the channel, subscribing, watching my videos, live streams, everything. You guys all rock. Appreciate it. Oh, close to Huntington. Yeah, Huntington, you're in a marginal risk there, Christy. So you're in the level 1 of 5. The 2 of 5 in the yellow and the 3 of 5 in the orange is farther west of you. So yeah, the higher threat is from Cincinnati down to like Lexington. That's just west of you and toward Louisville as we go into Friday. Hello from Saltillo, Tennessee. Thanks for joining, Alaskan Nomad. Appreciate it. Hello from Southwest Illinois. Yeah, if you're in Southwest Illinois, watch out. You're in a level 3 of 5 in that orange here. Significant risk for severe weather. We could have damaging, violent long track tornadoes in this area here as well. It does include St. Louis area, Springfield, Decatur, Jacksonville, Illinois, Quincy, Hannibal there, even into Missouri. Yeah, all those areas we're expecting potentially some significant severe weather, including violent long track tornadoes. So the ZF2 or stronger tornado potentials there. 75 plus mile per hour winds, which would be hurricane force or stronger. And then we also could have the damaging hail, 1 to 2 inches in diameter, or maybe a little larger in some spots there in Southwest Illinois. And again, possibly even an upgrade. We definitely could see a moderate risk upgrade somewhere in this area with the new outlook coming out potentially tomorrow or even on Friday. We'll continue to watch and wait and see on that one. Do you think St. Louis has a significant risk for large, long track tornadoes or just spin up ones? With what I'm seeing right now, I think let me go back to the RAP model and a couple other weather models real quick, because that's a great question. Okay. I just got asked about if there is a large tornadoes are possible in the St. Louis area. So again, let's go back to the composite reflectivity here on the RAP model. Very good question. So let's go back here to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Let's go to 1 o'clock. You see a couple of storms here. These will likely be, just heavy rainfall producers around St. Louis. Probably not talking about any, widespread severe weather early on Friday afternoon. The main cold front is still to the west, so we're going to continue to watch that on Tuesday. 4 o'clock, may see some storms pop up. Those could be severe. We'll wait and see on that. And then going through the evening, probably more of a damaging wind threat for St. Louis, but I definitely could see some embedded tornadoes. Will they be significant, long tracked? There's a possibility for that, but I don't see any, discrete supercells necessarily unless they develop ahead of the main line. Okay, so that's what we're seeing right now. So it's possible, but it's mainly just a huge line of storms with, the wind risk is going to be what's more prevalent up here to the north. How's everyone doing? Just wondering if the Storm Prediction Center could upgrade South Central Southern Illinois to a moderate risk. Yes, absolutely. If you live in Central or Southern Illinois, there is a decent chance for a moderate risk upgrade as early as tomorrow on day two's outlook. I definitely think that is a pretty decent chance. And possibly even into Northern or Northwest Illinois, Eastern Iowa, Northeast Missouri, there could be a decent area of a moderate risk going into the outlook tomorrow. So we'll just have to wait and see what the Storm Prediction Center thinks here as we get closer. Ricky Blankenship, what's 38201 looking like Friday? 38, what is it? Let me just look here. 38201. That's the McKenzie area. So McKenzie, that is just into Western Tennessee. You are in that, here, I'll turn this off again. Let me go back to the severe weather outlook here. So if you're in like the McKenzie area west of Nashville, you guys are in the level 3 of 5. So like Dixon, Clarksville, Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Union City, Paris, Lexington, all those areas, Humboldt, Brownsville, Dyersburg, all you guys there in Western Tennessee are in that level 3 of 5 enhanced risk for severe weather as we go into the day on Friday. So that's currently what we're seeing right now. Again, all modes of severe weather will be possible, including the threat for significant tornadoes. It could be EF2 or larger. We could also see some widespread hurricane force winds of 75 miles per hour or stronger, and also some damaging hail. So that is the threat on Friday. Could any rain earlier in the day lessen the storm fuel? Yes, that is absolutely in play. Right now, I don't see it. There's not much storms, and if you see any, again, another thing that you guys want to note as well, and you probably want to know, is if you look out your window on Friday, anytime, morning, afternoon, evening, if you look outside your window and you see sunshine, that means there's more energy getting put in the atmosphere. So you do not want to see sunshine on Friday. If you see any sunshine, whether it's for 5 minutes, a half an hour, that will just add more fuel to the fire already. So let's hopefully cross our fingers we have more rain than the models show, more storms, and less sunshine or no sunshine. We'll continue to wait and see what happens there. Excuse me. So you said the Naperville, Aurora area could be, yes, that is an area I'm watching for significant tornadoes. And let me go back to the RAP model again. Right now, the Aurora area, you guys are right on the Aurora Naperville. You're on the line between enhanced and slight. Let me turn this off again for you and go back again to the RAP model. Here is the significant tornado parameter. Just the composite of what we look at here at some of the models. And this is the latest run. Is very significant from 2 days out. I mean, this is 8 out of 10 across parts of northern Illinois. So if you can imagine an 8 out of 10, you multiply that the number 8 by 10, that's an 80% chance of strong tornadoes all across portions of northern, central, and south central Illinois here as we go in toward portions of the day on Friday. So yes, could be very dangerous. Brooke Davis, derecho in Iowa again. Get ready for something to happen that would have been highly unlikely. The pigs are going to fly. Well, not like the movie Twister, but I think those were cows, right, on Twister. But no, I think, excuse me. Let me take a drink of water real quick, guys. Sorry, guys. I've been talking for a while. I needed some water. Excuse me. But going back to Brooke's question about a derecho in Iowa again, it's possible. I think there's an upgrade to a moderate risk is definitely in play as we go into the day on Friday, or even tomorrow. A moderate risk could be upgraded tomorrow into the new outlook. We'll just have to wait and see. But there's a lot of ingredients coming together that something somewhere here in the lower Midwest to the Mid-South is going to see a pretty significant severe weather outbreak. We'll continue to wait and watch and see here. What about Chicago? Again, Chicago, there's a lot of storm fuel up here, at least on this model here. Let's go to the end of the model run, and you can see we even have significant tornado parameters of like 3s and 4s. So there's a decent chance, potentially a 30 to 40% chance of tornadoes there into Chicago as we go in towards the early evening on Friday. So Chicago, the timing for you is about between 5 p.m. and midnight. So if you live in Chicago, 5 p.m. to midnight would be the time frame to watch out there for storms. You're welcome, Ricky. Any chance the risks shift more east or more west? There's always a chance for that leading up to the event. I do think there's a chance. Let me go again back to the risk here for you to show you this real quick. Just 1 second here. Again, there is always a chance for this to shift more west or east. With the latest model runs that I have seen, if anything, the enhanced risk across the western side of this area, like into central Iowa, might be cut off or just stay the same. And there may actually expand the enhanced risk to expand into all of northeast Illinois, into portions of western or northwestern Indiana. That's still possible. So like Rockford, Illinois, down through the Aurora, Naperville region, Chicago, maybe up there towards southwest of Kenosha, Gary, Indiana, Indianapolis, there's still a possibility that enhanced risk could expand going through the day on Friday as we get closer. And also an upgrade. Now, an upgrade to a moderate risk is possible, and that area would include, I think this would be the area, at least in my mind, with what I've been seeing for an upgrade here. So if you live in anywhere in this area here, I would definitely be on high alert for a potential moderate risk upgrade going into the day on Friday. So that would probably include eastern Iowa, west central and southern central Illinois, eastern Missouri here, including the St. Louis area there, Springfield, Peoria, Davenport, Quad Cities, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, all those areas there could have that moderate risk upgrade as we go towards the outlook tomorrow. That's definitely a possibility. Hello from Brazil. Hello, thanks for joining. Definitely appreciate it. We love people from Brazil. Thanks for joining. Hello from Tipton County, Tennessee. Janice says, "Thank you so much for joining, Janice. Much appreciated." What do you what do you think for 63775? 63775. Let me see here. You are in Perryville there. You're in a moderate. Moderate. You're in an enhanced risk for severe weather, just to the south there of St. Louis. So right into portions between St. Louis and Cape Girardeau. You're right in the middle of that, and that is actually a concerning area right now. That could be an area that could get upgraded to a moderate risk in the next update. So that would be an area to watch as we get closer. So if you live between St. Louis and Cape Girardeau, certainly there could be a threat for some damaging storms. So some EF2 or stronger tornadoes, 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts or stronger, and also some 2-inch or larger hailstones, which would be golf ball size, head egg size, or larger. So watch out there. Hey, Ashley Lee, thanks for joining. Again, thank you so much for modding the chat this evening. Much appreciated. What are we looking at for Southwest Michigan? Right now, southwestern lower Michigan, we're seeing a low-end threat for severe weather. Some expansions are possible with this, but right now, Kalamazoo to Holland, you guys are in the threat for a level 1 of 5 in the dark green. That is the lowest threat for severe weather on the scale right now. So just a marginal risk here. Again, that covers much of the Holland area there. So if you live in any of those areas, Holland down to Kalamazoo, we could be seeing the threat for some marginal severe storms, so 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, some quarter-size hail, and maybe a brief spin-up tornado there. What time of the storm is going to hit Michigan City, Indiana? I would say the area here around Gary to Michigan City to South Bend will be after dinner, so probably between about 5 p.m. and about midnight would be a good bet for you. Okay, so 5 p.m. to midnight would be a good bet for you in that time frame. Hello from New Hampshire, Sharon says. Thank you so much for joining, Sharon. Hello, I live in Northern Illinois, so good to have people from the Northeast tuning in this evening. When's the next update? Knuckles says 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. So tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So really just in the next 4 hours, they will be updating it. So in 4 hours from now, that's when the new update will be out. And then they'll actually update it again tomorrow. So they update it twice tomorrow, 1 a.m. in the morning and then 12:30 p.m. Central Time in the afternoon. And then there'll be updates at 8 o'clock or another update at 1 a.m. on Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. on Friday morning, 11:30 in the morning, and then another one at 3 o'clock. So multiple updates still leading up to this event. So again, that's why we stress that things could still change. Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. Good to see you on here as well. Thank you for helping out. What do you think for 46350? Let's see here. Yeah, again, same thing for you near Michigan City. Between 5 p.m. and midnight would be the good time for you there. So, free sports streams. That is, again, I just looked up 46350 zip code. Yes, you are in the threat for severe weather. Right now, a slight risk. Wouldn't be surprised if you're upgraded to an enhanced risk, but right now, just look for widespread damaging winds, some embedded tornadoes, and some hail with that as it pushes through. Again, timing with that right now looks between 5 p.m. and midnight. Hello. When will we be looking at this risk in the area south of St. Louis? Mainly during the afternoon and evening. So probably during the between noon and about 8 p.m. So about noon and 8 p.m. That 8-hour window there would be a good bet for you, just south of St. Louis. Again, tornadoes, widespread damaging winds, and damaging hail are a good bet for you. Again, guys, please subscribe down below if you guys have not yet subscribed. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. I do a video every single morning for the most part at 9 a.m. covering southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, and do a detailed weather breakdown for you guys every morning. I'll be doing another video for you guys tomorrow morning, and press the thumbs up button. We're up to 257 likes here, so let's try to see if we can get to 300 likes in the next few minutes. I appreciate it, guys. The more thumbs up we can get, the better. The more people we get to join the live stream. I wonder if the West Coast, there's no cloud seeding. I'm sorry, but there's no cloud seeding. That does not happen. Sorry. Got it. Thanks. You're welcome, Pamela. Let's see. Hopefully, I didn't miss too many of your guys' questions. I'm kind of scrolling up in the chat here to see. 50703. So Brooke says 50703. Yeah, so if you live in Waterloo, Iowa, Brooke, yes, you are in that dangerous area. You're very close to the low pressure system, so that means you're going to have backing winds toward the low pressure system, kind of like this at the surface, and then you're going to have those very strong mid-level winds kind of perpendicular to that. So I think in Waterloo, you're actually in a very good area for strong tornadoes going in towards Friday. So I would be on high alert there if you live in those areas, for sure. 200 miles northeast of Detroit, and it's snowing here. Big surprise. Yeah, again, well, you're farther north, so yeah, the cooler air is going to be moving down to the south from Canada. So definitely lots of cooler air feeding into the northern side of the storm. So there's going to be a lot of snow up there. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Are you going storm chasing? No, I'm not going storm chasing. I do live in northern Illinois, but I'm not going storm chasing. I will go live for this event on Friday as long as I don't lose power, because again, I live in northern Illinois, so if I lose power, I won't be able to go live. Just joining in from Chicago, do you think the enhanced area could reach Chicago any tornado? Yes, I think there's a very good chance with what I'm seeing right now. The enhanced risk is going to be expanded towards Chicago and potentially the moderate risk west of town. So I think the expansion will be something like that, and I think the moderate risk upgrade will be to the west there of Chicago. I think that's a great bet right now. Again, I would put it at 70% chance, like I said earlier. So I think the moderate risk again would probably be something like this to the west of Chicago. Okay, so that is what I'm currently seeing. The moderate risk would any upgrade to a moderate risk would be west of Chicago. Davenport, Iowa. Yes, you're right in the middle of that. If you live in Davenport, Iowa, the Quad Cities region, you are probably in the most favorable zone for strong tornadoes, widespread damaging winds, damaging hail, flooding rains, and even some very frequent and vivid lightning. I think that if you live in Davenport, Iowa, you could be upgraded to a moderate risk overnight, a level 4 or 5. Definitely a possibility. Central Iowa, what is DSM? What's that? Is it the Des Moines area? If you live there in Des Moines, like Central Iowa, you are in the enhanced risk right now, but there is a possibility that this may either stay the same or kind of shift a little bit farther towards the east. There's a possibility. So parts of the service, the National Weather Service area here into central Iowa, which is out of the Des Moines, I think could push it either farther to the east. So we'll continue to wait and see what happens here. But I think there's a possibility that shifts farther to the east. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, guys, just joining, press the like button, or I should stop calling it a like button. Press the thumbs up button down below. We're almost to 300 likes. Definitely appreciate it. Consider hitting that subscribe button if you're new, and again, hit the notification bell so that you get future live streams and videos. I will be putting a video out tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, so do be on the lookout for that. Again, another reason to subscribe and like the live stream and hit the notification bell. Again, we just hit 26,000 subscribers today. Again, thanks to all the new subscribers out there. We're up to 26,067 subscribers. So thank you so much. Yeah, Des Moines. Yeah, Des Moines, you're in that enhanced risk. So significant damaging winds over 75 miles an hour. So those hurricane force winds. Also, we could be talking about some strong tornadoes and even some damaging hail. Same thing there in Waterloo, Iowa. Yep, Waterloo, Iowa. You're very close again to that low pressure system, and again, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to have backing of the winds toward the low pressure system here, and that means that we're going to have that mid-level jet come in more perpendicular. So that is a very interesting setup there for the northeast Iowa areas. We could have a strong tornado up closer to the low pressure system itself. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Matthew says, Minneapolis, Minnesota thoughts. You guys are going to be in the snow side, so you're going to see snow up here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If anything, you may see a rumble of thunder later on, but you're on the snow side of things. Let's see how much snow we're seeing. Yeah, you can see there's a few inches of snow are on the way there, especially north of the Twin Cities, up towards St. Cloud and up toward Duluth, Minnesota, Fargo, all those areas up here. That's where we're seeing the heaviest of snow, going just north of the Twin Cities. So you're on the cooler side of the storm. You're on the cooler side of the storm for sure. Rough estimate on timing for Davenport, Iowa. I think between about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock. So between 2 and 8 o'clock would be a good bet. So early afternoon, basically all afternoon into the early evening hours. I think the storms cross the river probably late afternoon, early evening. So on average, around 5, 6 o'clock, they cross the river. That's what it looks like right now with the latest weather models I've been looking at. Muscatine, Iowa, Megan says. Yeah, Muscatine, the Davenport Quad Cities up to Clinton, Dubuque County up here into Dubuque, down to Muscatine, Keokuk, Burlington, Galesburg, Macomb, Western Illinois University, all these areas here, into Henry County, Mercer County, all you guys down here, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, you guys, Maquoketa, you guys are all in that enhanced risk for severe storms. I definitely think some very destructive storms. We could see winds over 80 miles per hour up in this area and possibly an upgrade to a moderate risk in the new update from the Storm Prediction Center overnight, which would be a level 4 or 5. That is a possibility in toward the Davenport Quad Cities region, including Muscatine. We also could be seeing some strong long track tornadoes that could be EF2 or stronger, and also some 2-inch or larger hailstones. You're in that significant hatched risk for severe weather, Megan, and Muscatine. Yeah, absolutely, Matthew. You're welcome. Heard these storms will be fast. Yes, there's a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere. These storms will be chugging along very quickly. So, for example, if these storms develop like it shows some of the models and why the Storm Prediction Center has the outlook back into central Iowa here, they develop in a line back here toward Des Moines, they will race to the east. So they'll be knocking on the doorstep here of the Mississippi River probably by around dinner time. They'll already be knocking on the doorstep there of Chicago and the Indiana-Illinois state line there, closer towards that 10, 11 o'clock time frame, and then even farther east toward Indianapolis after midnight. So they will be moving very quickly, to say the very least. Probably 50 to 60 mile per hour movement to the east on these storms. Well, it looks like, Kyle, that this could be upgraded to parts of northeastern Illinois and like southern southeastern Wisconsin to an enhanced risk, even parts of northwest Indiana. It's definitely a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. Mononk, Illinois, you guys are in the central Illinois region here. You guys are in the level 3 of 5. So significant damaging winds over 80 miles per hour, possibly an upgrade to a moderate risk in your area. So a rare level 4 or 5 is possible by tomorrow morning's update, or at least on Friday. We could be seeing some strong long track tornadoes and some damaging hailstones over 2 inches in diameter there as well. So that is an area for sure that we are keeping an eye on going through the day on Friday. Absolutely. Again, just joining, press that thumbs up button down below. Definitely much appreciated. Yeah, it's possible a derecho could occur, but right now we'll have to wait and see on that. But it is possible, certainly. Or if we have a broken line of storms, we could have a higher tornado threat, like some of the other models are showing. Yeah, it looks like a pretty dangerous situation there in Mononk, Illinois, potentially. Again, not to just because you're in a risk in Mononk or Peoria or wherever doesn't mean that you're going to see necessarily 80 mile per hour winds in your backyard, or an EF3 tornado in your backyard, or 2-inch hail. It just means the probability of those hazards are higher than usual. So that's why we have to really watch this as we go through Friday. And changes will be coming, upgrades, downgrades, shifts in the forecasts, and are still in play here. We're only at Wednesday evening now, mid-evening, and we're talking about like Friday afternoon and evening. So this is still almost, just less than 2 days out now. So things can certainly change. Thank you so much, Kyle, for the $5 donation to the channel. Thank you so much. Again, I definitely appreciate everybody donating and helping out. Everybody give Kyle Flynn a round of applause in chat. Thank you so, so much for your generous $5 donation. You didn't have to do that, but much appreciated. Thank you so much, my friend. Janet, Pettis County, Missouri. Let me look up and see where Pettis County, Missouri is for you real quick. Let's see. That's in the Sedalia region. Okay, so north of Springfield. Yeah, Sedalia, you are in right on the westernmost side of that enhanced risk. So you're in the level 3 of 5 there in Sedalia. That's what we're seeing right now. Yep, so we could be seeing some hurricane force winds over 80 miles per hour is possible. We could also be seeing some significant, strong, long track tornadoes. EF2s are stronger, and some damaging hail of 1 to 2 inches in diameter. Definitely in play here. We are down the road from Roanoke, which saw that big tornado in 2004. We'll definitely keep vigilant. Yeah, definitely. Some of these events are pretty rare. The Storm Prediction Center, when they put out a day 5 enhanced risk for severe weather, you definitely have to take it seriously. This has been an enhanced risk for a few days now. So definitely at some point, I think a moderate risk upgrade, a rare level 4 or 5 is possible. So that is something we're going to continue to watch as we get closer. Definitely. But again, if you have not yet pressed the thumbs up button down below, do so. We're only 19 likes or thumbs up away from getting to 300 even. And again, consider hitting that subscribe button so you get all of my daily weather forecast updates. Again, I do daily weather forecast updates that are detailed. Okay, so probably one of the more detailed weather weather forecasters here on YouTube. So if you like detailed weather forecasts, definitely do so down below and hit that notification bell, because I'll try to go live on Friday. Again, I live in Northern Illinois, so we will see. If I lose power, I will not be able to go live. So what about 61832? Absolutely, I'll look at that. What about 61832? So the Danville area, I believe that's in eastern Illinois. Yes, Danville, you are in that enhanced risk for severe weather. You're right on the line, though, between enhanced and slight. Again, this could shift a little farther east, so you'd be solidly in that. But right now, that Danville is pretty much on the line between a level 2 and 3. But yes, some significant damaging winds over 70, 80 miles per hour is a good bet for you. Some strong tornadoes, potentially even EF2 or stronger strength, and even some damaging hail is a possibility for you as well. Absolutely, we'll continue to watch that. Does anybody have any questions for their area or what they can expect, the timing of the storms, anything while I'm still here this evening? We've been live for just about almost 2 hours now. We've been live for an hour and hour and 50 minutes or so. Ken says, what about 63459? Yep, absolutely. I'll look that for you. 63459. So the New London area, south of Hannibal. Yeah, you're solidly you're in the middle of that enhanced risk there. In the Quincy, Hannibal area down to O'Fallon, you guys are in that, enhanced risk, and possibly, again, another area that could be upgraded to a level 4 or 5. A rare moderate risk could be on the way, potentially, with the new update by tomorrow morning. That'll be coming out at 1 a.m. in the morning, and then another update tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon. It's all in Central Time, because the Storm Prediction Center is based out of Norman, Oklahoma, so they're in Central Time, so that's why these outlooks come out in Central Time. Gradient winds will be a problem as well. Pittsburgh wind gusts are expected to be 50, 60. Yes, it's another thing is outside of any thunderstorms, we're probably going to have some special weather statements, some wind advisory headlines, because we're going to see some very strong wind energy, not only above our heads up to the mid-levels and upper levels of the atmosphere with the strong jet maxima, but we're also going to be seeing a very powerful low-level jet, or a very strong what we call mass response, where you can start off in the 40s Friday morning for temperatures and quickly rise to near 70 up in some of these areas, and it will feel like a severe weather day. Probably one of the more muggy days we have seen in a while, that is for sure. And let's look at the dew points real quick with what the WRAP model is showing. And you can see kind of overlapping some of these areas. Look at the dew points. The WRAP model is concerning with by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, anywhere in these teal shaded colors, those dew points will be rising into the 60s as far north as potentially southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and eastern Iowa in this area. And that is a pretty good overlap with some of the shear moving in over top of that, going in towards the Friday evening time frame. So that would be something to watch as well. This model is pretty aggressive with the moisture, but if this occurs, the more moisture you have, the better the chance of strong tornadoes, because tornadoes love all that very strong moisture as it affects northward into the area. Thank you for info. Have a great rest of your. Thank you so much for your great question, Ken. I appreciate it. What time will this all start? No, not tomorrow. This is on Friday. So this is not tomorrow's Thursday, March 30th. This will be Friday, March 31st. So we'll still have tomorrow for things to change. But yeah, Friday it looks like during the afternoon, evening, and then extending into the overnight hours through the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley area. Again, it'll first start across the lower Midwest, and then it will start across the Mid-South, and then push east into the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys. All right. Hey guys, we only need about 12 more thumbs up or likes on the live stream to get to 300. So if you would please press that thumbs up if you haven't already, definitely much appreciated. Means a lot. And again, thank you so much, Kyle, for your $5 donation. Again, that is appreciated, my friend. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channel for if you're new. Again, another video will be coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. So be ready for that. Hit the notification bell, bell icon, everything. Do it all, guys. Appreciate it. You guys can go back and watch my video from today. That's on the home screen of my YouTube page. You guys can go watch that. Again, you can see how detailed I am with that as well. Sometimes I even go into more detail than that video, but you definitely can go and watch that video that's posted. So go watch that. Great info on there from start to finish. So I even below in the description here, I have my Twitter handle, which is or also even on the screen. So you can follow me on Twitter at hweather420. I will be providing daily updates and sometimes hourly updates as we get closer to the event on things that I see with the models on my Twitter page. I also, during the event, will be reposting and retweeting pictures, videos, and storm reports and stuff like that. So that's another good way to follow me on Twitter. Again, that's on the screen, and you can also see it and click on it in the description below. You can watch any of my additional weather videos. I have my spring forecast for 2023 down below, and also my educational video on derechos down below as well. So you can go down there and check that out. Yeah, we're only one like away, guys, from hitting 300 likes. I definitely appreciate it. Hey, we did it. We hit 300 likes. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kyle. Appreciate it. You ever seen a storm this? Yes, I actually live in Northern Illinois. I went through the August 10th, 2020 Iowa derecho, and that was one of the strongest derechos in recent memory. So, yes, that was a absolutely very strong derecho for sure. There was winds over 120 mile per hour. That was all straight line winds. It flattened the corn. Silos, barns were absolutely destroyed. There was a lot of damage, lots of extensive, considerable tree damage from that. Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Hopefully that doesn't happen again on Friday. Are strong tornadoes possible for Northeast Illinois or more of a wind threat? Right now, I think I lean more toward a widespread wind threat, but there will be a threat for tornadoes, which could be strong, very close to you. If not, it'll be down into central Illinois, eastern Iowa, and into northeastern Missouri. So I think the area right now with this outlook would be for the highest tornado threat would be in this area here. But that definitely could still shift farther north and east. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see as we get a little bit closer. I don't have a camera. I don't show my face on my videos or anything. If that's what you're wondering. At least not right now. I'm working on maybe getting a webcam eventually, but what's the point of seeing my face when I give you the forecast, right? I mean, all you need is the weather forecast. I don't need to look beautiful for anybody. That derecho was, yeah, absolutely. If you remember that, if you lived in Iowa, I'm sure a lot of people will remember that storm for quite some time, even if you didn't go through it. So, how is it looking for Nashville? Kevin says, right now, Nashville, you're right along the line of being in the enhanced. So I would consider you in that enhanced risk. So a level 3 or 5, possibly widespread damaging winds. They'll slowly weaken as they push into middle Tennessee and then over toward the east along I-40 there toward Cookeville, the Tullahoma, Lewisburg, McMinnville, Murfreesboro, Crossville areas. They'll be weakening as they push east, but they certainly could still be packing a punch with some widespread hurricane force winds, some damaging tornadoes, and even some destructive hail as well as they push east. We'll continue to definitely watch that storm as it moves into your area. Absolutely. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Noah. Thank you for your forecasts. It always brings peace of mind knowing what's going on with the weather. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your kind words. And again, I pride myself on giving you guys the utmost accurate and reliable weather forecasts on YouTube. Again, you will, I promise you, get the most accurate weather forecast no matter what it is on here, talking about snow, flooding, severe weather, anything, ice storms, heat waves, Arctic outbreaks. We will cover it all accurately on this channel as well. So thank you. Everybody give Noah Halsey a great round of applause in the chat. You did not have to do that. Thank you so much for your $10 donation to the channel. It goes a long way. Much appreciated. Thank you for the super chat. You're absolutely welcome, Kevin. Thank you as well. Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on it, Rain Maves, for sure. Absolutely, Lisk. Yeah, I don't think it really matters whether or not I show my face. All that really matters is that I give you guys the most accurate weather forecast, and that's what I pride myself on. I wake up in the morning, I look at weather models, I go to bed at night looking at weather models. I literally look at weather data all day long because I want to give you guys the most absolutely accurate weather forecast I possibly can. And what better way to do that than looking at weather data all day long? Straining my eyes, but hey, it's worth it, right? It's worth it because it's keeping people safe, and that's what I want on here, is to keep everybody safe. That's why we're doing this live stream here this evening as well. You are from Northern Illinois like myself. Are you old enough to remember? I've heard of those events. I am old enough to remember the Rochelle, Fairdale, Illinois tornado. That was actually coming up very close to this date. It's actually, this severe setup is actually extremely similar to that event. If you guys remember back in April 9th, 2015, that was an EF4 tornado into Fairdale, Rochelle, Illinois, and that actually is in Northern Illinois as well, near I-39. That is a similar setup and actually had a similarly large enhanced risk to this one as well. So that is kind of concerning. I like to see who's streaming though. I've never been in the stream before. I disagree. Well, man, if you're here to look at what I look like, then why are you here then? Because all I'm doing is giving you guys a weather forecast. You don't need to see my eyebrows, my eyes, anything like that. You don't need to see my face. I'm just here to give you guys the weather. That's it. So I'm not here to look handsome for anybody. Again, I'm here pristinely to just give you guys the weather forecast accurately and to the best of my ability. So that is my mission here on this channel. So my mission will always be and is always to give you guys an accurate depiction of the weather each and every day. That's why I do a video every day at 9 a.m. Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you so much as well, William and Tsunami Tommy. I'm guessing power outages are likely to happen even without. Yes, the straight line wind damage is definitely going to be a concern. We could be seeing winds well over 60 miles per hour and probably even stronger than hurricane force. We could be seeing over 80 mile per hour winds potentially with this, with all the wind energy I see coming into play here across parts of this region, especially in parts of this orange region. We'll see if we get a moderate risk upgrade overnight. What do you think will happen in Des Moines? I think a broken line of supercells that could produce tornadoes transitioning quickly to a QLCS or even a derecho going in towards the afternoon on Friday. So we'll continue to watch that. Maybe some broken storms back here. They'll develop into a line and push farther toward the east there as we go toward the Ohio Valley on Friday. Just started watching. Is there any spin-ups possible for Carbondale? Absolutely. Not only just spin-ups, I think there could be a very significant and possibly serious tornado situation unfolding down here to southern Illinois on Friday afternoon and evening. There is a lot of energy, a wind energy that is. We got a lot of instability or CAPE, what we call convective available potential energy coming in. And it's looking pretty volatile down here in the southern and central Illinois. So for significant tornado parameters, 2 days out, we're seeing 8s already on the scale. So that's an 80% chance of a significant EF2 or stronger down here as well in the southern Illinois, including Carbondale. So that's very concerning 2 days out. And this is another area that could be updated or upgraded to a moderate risk, which is a rare level 4 or 5. So again, we'll continue to monitor it. It's still a couple days out here. Kyle Flynn, you do not have to do that, guys. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. Again, thank you. Everybody give Kyle Flynn, and again, give Kyle Flynn and Noah Halsey. Thank you both so much for your $10 donation. You guys did not have to do that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Give them a round of applause, everybody in the chat. Much appreciated. Very, very generous, guys. Last Saturday, Northwest Pennsylvania had a microburst with 100-mile-per-hour winds. Really? I didn't hear about that. I heard there were some trees down. Was that what it was from? Do you remember the town or area? I'll have to go back and look at that. What's the tornado possibility in Mountain Home, Arkansas? So down here in the Mountain Home, this is in northern Arkansas. You are in a very significant threat for tornadoes. So yes, northern Arkansas here, Mountain Home to Harrison to Mountain View, Little Rock to Batesville, Walnut Ridge to Jonesboro. You guys are all in that significant hatched risk for violent tornadoes that could be up to EF5 strength. We could also be seeing potentially some damaging hail over an inch, possibly over 2 inches in diameter, and some hurricane force winds over 75 or even 80 miles per hour is a possibility. So that is what we are seeing for Friday. Again, press that thumbs up button down below, everybody, if you enjoy the stream so far. Again, I appreciate everybody, asking their questions, laying out their comments, questions, concerns, everything like that this evening is really much appreciated. Again, I like the interaction here. So again, if you have any more questions, comments, concerns, throw them out. Otherwise, I think I'll be kind of wrapping this live stream up here rather soon. I would love to be with you all night, but I actually do have to get ready to post my video here. It comes out at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm going to be working all night around the clock for you guys to get this weather forecast out for you guys tomorrow morning. So if you have not yet, subscribe to the channel down below so you get my video tomorrow morning, as well as hit the notification bell. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's on the screen or in the description below. It's HWeather420. I have lots more updates on there as well, and more frequent updates as we get closer to the event. Yes, summer is absolutely going to be hot. Again, we're still going through spring. We'll wait and see. We're actually transitioning probably to a moderate or strong El Nino. Again, we've been in a 3-year La Nina. We're back to neutral, and that's why the weather pattern's been so volatile. Very big swings in the jet stream, a lot of ups and downs. That tends to happen when you transition out of La Nina into neutral conditions. Eventually, we'll transition back to a moderate to strong El Nino, and that could lead to a hot summer and dry summer for many, the likes of which we haven't seen in probably over 10 years in some spots. So we'll continue to wait and see what happens. The 1990 F5 Plainfield, Illinois tornado was in northeast Illinois near Joliet. Wow, really? Yeah, I heard about that one. That's a very tragic event there. Hopefully nothing like that occurs anytime soon. Pennsylvania had a lot of wind damage as well as Ohio last Saturday. Oh, wow, okay. You have to look back at that. Mela, subscribe. Will you be live on Friday? Yes, that's my plan, Mela. But if I am not, that is because I lost power. Because I live in northern Illinois, so hopefully I can go live on Friday. Otherwise, I will not be. So if I lose power, I will not be able to go live, as you can imagine. So hopefully I can. But otherwise, I will not be if I go, lose power. Because I live west of Chicago, and I'm in that enhanced hatched risk area too. So I could have threat for hurricane force winds, strong tornadoes, and big hail as well. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But yes, that's my plan so far.
How long will we be in El Nino? I have no idea. We're just We're not even in El Nino right now, so that's more of a trend thing. That's more of a long-term question. I have no idea, to be quite honest with you. And again, if I have no idea, then that means I have no idea, man. So again, I want to give you as much accuracy as I possibly can on this channel, and again, I pride myself on that. So I don't want to answer a question that far out to be wrong. So I will kind of say, well, we'll wait and see. All right. It was hot and dry last summer. Yep. Well, most summers are hot and dry. It just depends on where you are. If you're in Arizona, you're used to it. But if you're in, like, say, New York City, it could be a different story. We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. All right. So zooming it out one more time for you guys before I end it here. Again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you guys, all you guys, for all the new subscribers out there, liking the live stream, pressing that thumbs up button, joining. And again, thank you so much for joining me this evening with all your great comments, questions, concerns. I definitely appreciate it. Be very safe. Again, Thursday, there's a severe risk as well. We don't want to discount that. I'll show you that just real quick here. Thursday, tomorrow, there's a marginal risk in two areas. We got a marginal risk up here into southwestern Minnesota. This does include the Sioux Falls area into South Dakota here, southeastern South Dakota into northeast Nebraska. And then a secondary area of a marginal risk from Topeka, Kansas, down into Wichita, Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa, back to Fayetteville, Arkansas area to Fort Smith, northern side of the DFW Metroplex, so Sherman over to Denton, McKinney up there toward the Vernon and Wichita Falls region, and also farther north into southwest Oklahoma into the Lawton and Fort Sill area. So a large area of a marginal risk as we head into Thursday, and there is a 2% shading for tornadoes. So there is a threat for spin up tornadoes. But Thursday's threat is conditional, okay? Which means there is a strong capping inversion on the storms on Thursday. And we have a big drought all across the central Great Plains. As you can imagine, as you can look up the drought monitor just as well as I can, there's a lot of drought out here. And it's going to continue to build as we get closer to the warm season in summer. So that's going to lead to more capping inversions farther to the east. But with El Nino coming, hopefully we can start chipping away at some of this drought across this region, and then that capping concern will be kind of going away farther to the east. But that will mean more significant severe weather outbreaks across the south if that does occur. So the saving grace as we head into Thursday with the strong shear in place and the instability is the capping inversion. It is like a steel wall basically on Thursday. So we'll just have to wait and see. But if storms break through the cap, we could be seeing all modes of severe weather, damaging winds to 60 miles per hour, large hail, a quarter size or a little larger, and also potentially a couple of spin-up tornadoes. Those favored areas right now with a 2% shading of tornadoes, which is a very low chance, but still there, non-zero tornado threat from Bartlesville down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and surrounding areas. So we're talking about you in El Reno, Norman, Moore, Oklahoma, the Shawnee area, Fort Sill, Lawton, and then down towards the Red River here, just east of Vernon, toward the Burke-Burnett area, Wichita Falls, Denton, and then just northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex there towards the Red River. So this for areas of I-35, I-44, I-40, and then on up there toward Highway 64 in the northern portions of Oklahoma. Those are the areas to watch for potentially some rotating storms if that cap decides to break as we move forward. Yeah, there's another storm next week. We got to get through one storm at a time. So I will be, providing you guys details with that next storm that is coming. Again, that one could be another intense, powerful system going into early next week. I know the Storm Prediction Center already has a day 7 out for that. I guess I could briefly show it to you here. But there's really not much merit in looking at that right now because it is so far out. So, and it's actually not showing it on my end. So it's not showing it on my screen for whatever reason, but there is like a day 15 risk or slight risk down across this region as we head in towards Tuesday. So that's that Tuesday time frame, but this could change. This could shift north. It could expand. We just have to wait and see as we go through, say, that early next week time frame. All right. Get some sleep. Yeah, I need it. I need it. I need to get my video done here tonight. So lots of information, great information for you guys. We'll have the latest weather forecast for you guys tomorrow concerning the severe weather outbreak and what is at stake for Friday. All right, and much more. We'll be talking about the longer range into early next week. That storm. We'll be talking about more West Coast rain and snow and a lot of stuff as well, and possibly the long range pattern going through the middle of April. Okay, so we will be doing that. And also in 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days, on April 1st, on Saturday, as you guys well know, if you have not yet subscribed, I will be putting my April forecast out for you guys. Excuse me, April 1st, for every single first of the month, I put a forecast out that details the whole month. So I will be doing that going into early April. That's every first, so that'll be April 1st. So no, it won't be an April Fool's joke, but April 1st on Saturday, I'll be putting my April forecast out for you guys. Des Moines, well, if you're in the risks, Des Moines, then obviously, yes, I will be putting that forecast together for you as well. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thank you, Ashley Leith, for modding. Thank you, Weather Watcher US and Canada. Thank you so much for modding as well. Much appreciated. Again, everybody get some rest out there. We got a long couple of days ahead of us, especially on Friday and even early next week. So, again, get some rest out there, and I hope to see everybody again later on this week and in my video tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great and safe rest of your evening. Good night, everybody.